Hello, welcome to A Bit Beyond the Basics of Immigration, Humanitarian Benefits. Today I'm going to share about a few different benefits found in the United States immigration law that seek to serve people who fall between the cracks of the normal immigration law. So let's get started. I'm going to record these in 4 different videos. Feel free to watch them together or break them up. We're going to start with VAWA Self Petition. VAWA stands for the Violence Against Women Act. The Violence Against Women Act is an act of Congress. It's a law that covers a wide variety of situations attempting to protect women and children and eventually all people against domestic violence. A lot of it doesn't have anything to do with immigration, but of course today we're going to focus on the part that does have to do with immigration. This law was passed in the 1990s and included a provision that's important for us to know about today. Before we get any further into this, I want to pause and say I highly recommend that if you haven't already watched Immigrant Visas, that you do so now. Part of the Immigrant Visas talks about family-based immigration, and that is very important. That's the basis for what we're going to talk about today. All right. Here's how regular family-based immigrant visas work. We have a U.S. person, maybe a U.S. citizen, maybe an LPR. I'll probably refer to them as a citizen, but it could be either one. We also have a non-citizen alien. And in this situation that we're talking about, they are married. So they have a family relationship. Today's relationship we're going to focus on is a marriage. In regular immigration law, here's how this happens. U.S. citizen files a petition. Do you remember this? They file a petition with the government. If that petition is approved, then the alien goes to the consulate and gets their visa. Or if they're in the United States, they seek to adjust status from a non-immigrant to an immigrant. That's how this generally works. Now, we're going to talk about a VAWA Self-Petition. There are situations where our U.S. citizen is abusive and controlling toward our non-citizen. In any situation where there's abuse, that's not a good thing. But specifically with immigration, we have some unique factors that come into play. Our U.S. citizen, in their attempt to control and harm this person, often uses immigration law to do so. If you call the police and tell them that I beat you, then I'm not going to file a petition for you. Or I'm going to take my petition away that I already filed. Or if you tell anyone about what's happening, then I'm not going to go to the interview, because normally there's an interview they would have to go to show that they have a valid marriage, etc., etc. So a variety of ways that they use this immigration process to manipulate this person, to control them, and to keep them silent. Congress looked at that and said, no, we're not okay with you using our laws as one of your tools of abuse. And so they created what is called a VAWA Self-Petition. In a self-petition, just like it sounds, this non-citizen actually gets to file the petition. And I'm going to put some numbers here to help me. Their petition is numbered I-360. Back here, this petition is an I-130. So now we don't need this petition. The non-citizen themselves can file a petition. That petition includes a lot of the same information. They still have to show I was legally married to a U.S. citizen or LPR. We had a bona fide marriage, a real marriage, and they would have to show proof of that. We lived together. That's actually a unique requirement here. It's not required with I-130, but here it's required to show we lived together. We had a real marriage, and I was married to a U.S. citizen. So those parts are similar, showing this relationship. In addition, they then have to show the abuse. And the law actually has a list of various different things that constitute abuse to meet this requirement. It's not just saying they yelled at me once. So there are some requirements there. So they show the valid marriage. They show the abuse. They also have to show that they have good moral character. I don't know if you remember this from the naturalization video, but good moral character essentially says that they themselves are not guilty of crimes and other issues. So they have to show they have good moral character in addition to all the other pieces. If they show that, we don't have to show any love anymore, although we do have to show they still had a valid marriage. The non-citizen gets to file their own petition. If the petition is approved, they then go to get the visa. It still follows the two-part process of a petition plus an application for a visa. The only difference is they get to file their own petition in these situations. There are a variety of other provisions within this law that Congress has put to help this individual recognizing some of the unique situations. For example, let's say that the US person, as part of their control, they burned or got rid of this person's passport. So they may not have proof of a passport like they would normally have, or other types of things. There are some provisions that say, yes, we recognize you're in a unique situation, and there are some differences in what you need to prove here. But for the most part, it's the same process as an I-130, plus showing the abuse, plus showing good moral character to even get the petition approved. So that's a VAWA Self-Petition. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We will be talking about it later on in another series coming up in the future.